You know, it's kind of interesting that even though the jihadis and the Islamic supremacists have the media on their side, as you detailed just now, and even though they have unanimous fawning coverage for their deceptive and cynical campaign about jihad, and even though they have the government on their side, they have law enforcement on their side, they've pretty much won in every front. At the same time, it seems to me that this entire campaign itself, the Hamas-linked CAIR MyJihad campaign that says that jihad is just getting in your exercise or making friends or something, that it manifests a very deep anxiety. They are afraid. They are afraid that people will understand the truth. The truth is all too obvious. Even though it has been 11 years since 9/11, there was the Fort Hood massacre, which everybody who has even the most cursory knowledge of it can see was motivated by Islamic jihad doctrine. And they see jihad being waged all around the world. People know the truth cannot be hidden. And so this whole campaign, I think, manifests a very great insecurity on the part of the Islamic supremacists, that they think they need to pour on the propaganda, they need to step up the deception and the lies, because otherwise people are waking up and they're seeing that something is very wrong here, and something is very wrong stemming from core teachings of Islam.
Well, they know what their agenda is. They know what they're doing. And freedom is a very powerful force, you know, and so they're really up against, even if it's one free man is a giant, you know, in the face of submission and slavery. Essentially, that's what Islam is. And so they have much to fear. They absolutely have much to fear. And what they fear most, I think, is the sleeping giant. And America very much is the sleeping giant. She's been sort of put to bed after 9/11 and after the Christmas Day bomber and after the Fort Dick 6 and the Times Square bomber. And, you know, every week they're thwarting jihadi attacks. The media doesn't report on them. I mean, imagine, you know, if you got the kind of coverage of any of these, whether it would be the Federal Reserve building, where a Muslim wanted to destroy it by detonating a 1,000-pound bomb. If it got the kind of coverage that, let's say, a shooting would get, because there's an agenda on the left to disarm the American people. This is very much critical to their plan. You know, people say the Second Amendment, you know, is to defend yourself, and the Second Amendment. No. Just so that you know, the Founding Fathers, the objective of the Second Amendment was that the government would be afraid of the people, not vice versa. That was the whole point of America. The Second Amendment is guarding against tyranny. And if you look at any of the major genocides of the 20th century, each one was preceded by a gun control. So that's why you see, you know, these shootings getting massive coverage. Now, this shooting in California, where you had a, I mean, I personally think that it's jihad. I know that it's early, but the absolute fierce and reckless drive to kill as many people as possible in as short a period of time, knowing that he was going to martyr himself. This is yesterday in California. I suspect that will not get the kind of coverage, even though it's debased and it is monstrous and it is cold-blooded. I mean, literally, carjack from, you know, kidnapping the car owners and the cars, and killing the car owners, and going to the next killing, to the next killing, to the next killing, and then shooting at cars on the highway. I mean, really just madness. Although maybe it's not madness. Maybe it's jihad. I suspect that it will not get the kind of coverage that, say, a Newtown would get, because it may very well be jihad. And this is what makes the media criminal. This is to me, this is a criminal aspect. in the dissemination or lack of dissemination of the news and the underreporting of acts of jihad. It's a form of Sharia. It's Sharia. It's the media self-enforcing is Sharia. They will not insult Islam. They will not criticize Islam, even if it means just reporting the news. And again, I don't know how long you're going to be able to keep this from the American people. If the American people, were interested, not hard to find, even though increasingly our sites are under attack. I mean, look at you. Once again, Jihawatch is under cyber attack with a very sophisticated means of warfare. If I'm not mistaken, something that has not been seen before on your platform. And you were even advised to instruct the government on this kind of attack because so many government agencies use similar software. So there's a reason for that. What's with a couple of blogs? Why is even a couple of blogs a problem? For the same reason that you and I are a problem. Because people might listen, which is why it's key that they destroy our names and our reputations and our credibility. And they have to lie about it, because all you have to do is go to my site. I mean, I've written over 25,000 posts. You far exceed me. I've written 2 books. There again, you far exceed me. Stop showing off. 12 books, and hundreds and hundreds of columns. I mean, we're out there with our message. We're not hiding. You want to know what I think? You want to know what Spencer thinks? You go right to the website. You go right to the books. But that's the problem. They don't want people to go to the work. They have to categorize the work as hate or as advocating something which we've never advocated. Whereas we point to the Quranic texts, the Islamic teachings, that the jihadists themselves cite to justify their violence and their supremacism.
Absolutely. And so, you mentioned before self-enforcing Sharia, and I think that this campaign in general, that the mainstream media would abet this campaign of character assassination and defamation, and would, as you say, they fear to, and they never deign to quote actually what we say, but except when they are twisting it and reading meanings into it that it did not have. But instead they go through tortuous claims of association with people who have been similarly defamed and smeared, or with people with whom we've had nothing to do whatsoever, and try to make out that we have some sort of secret agenda, when actually nothing could be plainer than what we say. We say it so often, and we've said it in so many forums and in so many venues and in so many publications that there's really no question. But the mainstream media aids and abets this, and also they aid and abet this the jihad campaign that CAIR has launched, and have also tried to deep six and to obfuscate the reality of jihad in particular connection to your own AFDI campaign telling the truth about jihad. So can you tell us a little bit about what happened when you submitted the ads that we developed using the actual words of the jihadis to try to expose the ideology of those who were trying to destroy the West and the United States and all free people?
Well, what is so interesting, of course, is that it's not just the media. It's many government agencies. The history that I have in running these ads, the lawsuit against New York City Metropolitan Transit Authority, of course, winning on all counts, not a narrow victory, on all counts, because it was a violation of our First Amendment rights, but that I had to sue. And that wasn't the first time, and it certainly won't be the last time. And even with this campaign, what was deeply troubling was we saw that the Chicago Transit Authority, they were colluding, essentially, with the Hamas goons at CAIR. Because I had submitted these ads, the counter ads, the CAIR ads, the first week of December. Now, understand that CAIR had absolutely no problem running this campaign of lies and silliness